Hey guys, what's up? It's Christian from Super Kamiguru 9000, and I just want to let you know you are about to watch Naruto Chapter 561 review, but however, I cannot be there because I'm so busy with school. I was supposed to do an interview with J-Zone Productions. I was supposed to do an Esper review soon. We haven't scheduled that one yet, though, and I had to cancel both of them, mostly because school comes first, guys. It's just the way it goes. I'm so close to graduating from college. I'm very excited about getting into the real world and doing all that stuff. And I just want to let you guys know that my thoughts and opinions are in this video. I talked to Corey over the phone, and we discussed a few things, and the rating is definitely my opinion as well. And enjoy the review, guys.
What's up, anime faithful? It's Corey from Super Kamiguru 9000, and this is my review of Naruto Chapter 561. Now, before I actually get into the whole chapter review, I just want to say the text at the beginning of the chapter was friggin' kick-ass. Pierce the heavens. I immediately thought of Gurren Lagann when I saw this, and it just made this chapter immediately great. So, the beginning of the chapter, we get back to this giant meteor that has just been summoned by Madara that's just flying towards the battlefield, and is about to crush everybody in the Shinobi Alliance. And everybody's completely freaking out, as they should. While the giant meteor is actually flying down, Madara and Mu are sitting there, watch it fly towards them. And Madara is such a badass. He's just like, you know, I'm an Edo Tensei. I don't care if that slams right into us. That's actually the whole point of Edo Tensei, is to be able to do these giant widespread attacks and not have to suffer from it. It just reinforces again that this guy is one evil, awesome son of a bitch. But we then go back to Inoki, who decides he's going to use his really cool technique to actually stop this meteor. He's able to fly up to it and make it lighter somehow. It's some sort of special ability he has. And it looks like it's working at first. He's getting a little help from Gaara. But things get even crazier because guess what? Madara actually summons another meteor right on top of it, and it slams right into it and makes things even worse. Eventually we go to the war room. We get to see what's going on with some of the higher-ups again. And basically they're just talking about the whole fact that Madara's on the battlefield. How can he be there? Who's the guy in the mask? And they get all philosophical with us about the whole thing. You know, even if it's not Madara, it's still the ideals of Madara. You know, he's basically suckered all of us, blah, 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 blah. And Tsunade herself has finally just had enough. She's pissed, and she's getting ready to head to the battlefield, which is really, really cool. When we go back to the battlefield, we can see that it is just ravaged. Both of the meteors are on the ground, and they are just shattered and destroyed, and they're drawn in a really, really cool way, and it really shows the scale of this battlefield that's going on right now. Inoki himself is not looking too good. They say that his wounds are severe, and he's just lying on the ground. You know, you gotta give him credit, though. Look at what he just did. That was total Dragon Ball style right there. But then we go back to Madara and Mu, and then he starts talking to Kabuto through Mu, and they had this really interesting conversation, and this is, you know, more of the mystery, I guess, bubbling up in the story. And we can see here that Madara himself does have another plan, and that possibly Tobi's plans have nothing to do with his. So this just adds more to this mystery. And Kabuto himself even reinforces the fact that he knows exactly what's going on with Madara. He knows that he fought the first Hokage, he didn't die, and he stole some of his power somehow. So, you know, Kabuto knows a lot about what's going on with Madara right now. So as if summoning two giant meteors to the battlefield isn't enough, Madara shows off even more. He actually can use the wood style, and we get to see it in a really, really cool manner in this chapter. He uses the Mokuton abilities and, you know, basically does the whole putting his hands together, and this giant force just immediately comes out of the ground and starts heading towards everybody and just destroying everything in its path, uprooting the ground and everything. And how do they stop this? Of course, with Shonen Power, with Naruto's Shonen Power. In a really cool way, Naruto creates thousands of clones, and they all get ready to do the giant Rasengan. Now, before he does this, however, it's really interesting because he has a little talk with the Kyuubi inside of him. And the Kyuubi himself is like, damn it, is that Madara? Naruto, you gotta take this guy out. I do not want to be controlled by this guy. And it's kind of funny because, in a way, this is more showing that the Kyuubi is starting to warm up to Naruto a little bit. And he freely gives him his chakra in order to perform these giant Rasengan techniques. And he even is sort of cheering on Naruto a little bit in one of the panels. You can hear him say, "Go Naruto," and he's got this smile on his face, and it can kind of show that the Kyuubi is starting to kind of become like the Eight Tails is with Killer Bee. The forest has actually been destroyed by Naruto and all of his Rasengans. Unfortunately, he has no chakra left, which means he can't really do anything right now. Luckily, he has all of his team there to help him out. Gaara's getting ready to fight and everything, but Inoki gets up from his wounds and decides to battle. And this is the end of the chapter. Wow, that was a great chapter. And I know we say that all the freaking time, but this chapter just sort of kept proving the fact that Naruto has some of the best action of all the big three, and it just keeps coming. Madara himself is just such an awesome character to watch. He has so much power, and he just keeps surprising you. The whole meteor thing from the last chapter was huge. That was a big deal. But it got a little ridiculous when he summoned a second one right behind it. The fact that he can use this technique pretty much on the fly is just crazy. And yes, I know he is an Edo Tensei and he technically doesn't have any limitations, but still, it's just completely insane. As far as the story goes and everything in this chapter, more questions, really. That's the big thing here. The big conversation between Kabuto and Madara, that was interesting. There's one thing I actually didn't mention before, when they were having their conversation about their plans and everything in the battle with the first Hokage. Madara himself actually opened up his shirt and looked down for a second, went right back. What was under his shirt? I really hope he's not like a mutant from Total Recall or anything. What I like to think is maybe he has some of the first Hokage's parts in him. Kind of like how when you looked at Danzo and he had that part of his face on his arm and everything. Maybe it's something like that. Or maybe it's something Zetsu related. Or maybe it's something we haven't even friggin' seen before. It's kind of hard to tell. But it's pretty crazy. But Madara even showed off even more with his wood release abilities, which looked awesome. I love the way they displayed the speed of the way he used it. Really, really awesome. He can use it just as good as the first. That's even more of a testament to his power. And even though Madara was sort of the star of this chapter, Inoki himself was a badass. I mean, look at the stuff he did with those two meteors. That, like I said, it was a total Dragon Ball Z moment. He really would fit in very well with those characters. But Naruto himself, him and the Kyuubi, they had a lot of interesting things this week. The conversations they were having, the fact that the Kyuubi seems to be warming up to him slightly, really shows the development in his character and how things are going to go in the future. So I really look forward to seeing that, and this just shows that Naruto has just about tamed the Nine Tails completely. I really can't wait to see how he's going to use its powers against Sasuke in the future. That's just going to be insane. When you give me badass action that constantly comes at you with ridiculous proportions, things in the story that make me want to keep reading, and badass stuff from the main character, you get a 9 out of 10 from this chapter. It kicked ass. This Madara stuff just keeps coming, and it's ridiculous to think that I would have never thought this early on Naruto's fighting against Madara right now. He just fought against him. This is insane. This is one of the best arcs I've really seen so far, and I really think it's living up to the fact that it's this really huge war. It's really gotten to a huge scale at this point, and I can't wait to see where it's going to go from here. So, 9 out of 10. It's time for the question of the week. That special question we ask you about this week's chapter. I want to ask you guys about Inoki, the Tsuchikage. Is he actually going to sacrifice himself in the next chapter, or is that just a bunch of shonen talk? I want to know what you guys think, and you can let me know with your comments below. And if you want to let me know what you thought about this week's chapter, you can leave your comments there too. And me and Christian and I will try and get back to your comments as soon as we can. And hey, if you liked this video, thumb it up. It helps us out, it helps you out, it helps Naruto out. It's a win-win-win system.
One little story I want to share with you guys before I let you go is we released a Naruto discussion video that was centered around Madara and Tobi and Zetsu identities, and we just went through some theories. It was a lot of fun, and I really think we have some of the best subscribers in the YouTube anime community. These two guys, I forget their screen names, but I have screenshots. I'll put them up on the screen now for you guys. These two guys were talking, and then they started, I don't want to say being mean. I've seen people be horrible on the internet because it's so easy, because we're all anonymous, unless you're like a YouTuber that puts your face out there, especially if you're just some commenter. But these guys were having a disagreement. One guy forgot some basic fact about Zetsu. I don't really remember the details of the conversation. But one guy ends up saying he was sorry for being mean, and the other guy apologized. And I just thought that was great. I was like, you don't get people apologizing on the internet very often. So it was awesome to see that we have a fan base that, you know, is nice and courteous to each other. And it's really appreciated, you guys. I love when people have, you know, in-depth conversations on our videos but aren't so nasty to each other if they disagree. Because it's not, you don't have to be that way. Just because you can get away with being nasty on the internet doesn't mean you have to go that route. And I think, personally, if you're a horrible person on the internet, it's because you got something nasty inside of you and you feel like you can express it through the internet. You should probably look inside and wonder, why do I like being an idiot on the internet? Also, I think the internet's going to change in the next few years, so I don't think everyone's going to be anonymous forever. So start changing your behavior, because it's not going to last forever, especially if you're young. The internet you see now will be very different in about 5 or 10 years. Anyway, you guys, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for watching, and until next time, peace.